to codominance. And for codominance, again, it is a non-Mendelian inheritance wherein the alleles of a gene pair in a heterozygotes are both fully expressed. In incomplete dominance, none of them would be um, completely overpowering each other, dominating each other, so they are blended together. But in this case, both of them are dominant and they will be fully expressed. So there will be no blending happening here, but for both of the gene pair or the alleles or the forms will be expressed 100%. No blending that will be happening here. Here's an example of that. This is called dominance for camellia flower. So this is a crest for a red and a white camellia flower. So for the red, you have as F, and the R would be the symbol for the red allele, FR, and the FW will be the symbol for the white allele. So if you combine them together, you have here a true breeding red crossed with a true breeding white. So you will put here the FR and FR gametes on the top and the FW on the left hand side. So if you combine them, you now have here FR FW, FR FW, FR FW, and FR FW in all of the ways. So all of them would be heterozygote. Now for the incomplete dominant, it became pink. But for the codominance, for this example, camellia flower, you have here fully expressed white and fully expressed red. There are no pinks whatsoever. So that's the difference with the codominance. Okay, so I hope you got that. Now here's another example of the codominance. So again, the co meaning together, they're expressed together. So you have here a black cow crossed with a white cow, and you will get a spotted cow, which is the usual cows that we see in many advertisements. So you have here the black cow BB and then the white cow WW, and when you cross them together, of course you already know that they will simply combine. It will be heterozygote. It's the BW. So here's the black, here's the white, and here is the black and white spotted cow. So fully expressed are the blacks and fully expressed will be the white. So you won't be finding grays, which would be a blending together. So it's not incomplete inheritance, but rather it is codominance. Okay, what are all the possible phenotypes when two spotted cows are bred together? So you're very familiar with this. So if the spotted cow would be a heterozygote, so you have B and W, B and W. So if you cross them together, you will have the following. For the first pain, you have a BB. For the second pain, you have a BW. For the third pain, you have a BW. And for the fourth pain, you have a WW. So what would be the possible phenotypes? You have a black, and then you have two black and white or spotted cows, and then you will have one white. So for the genotypic ratio, it's 1 BB, 2 BW, and 1 WW. For the phenotypic ratio, you will have here 1 black, 2 spotted, and 1 white. So it's quite different from the Mendelian inheritance, which is 3:1. So the phenotypic ratio for codominance is 1:2 to 1 ratio. Okay, so you have here the possible phenotypes. Okay, very nice. Another example would be the tail length. The tail length in cats is an incompletely dominant trait. Okay, so it's incomplete pala yan. So let's go to the codominance example. So this is example of codominance. Heterozygous chicken have a color described as erminet, as you can see in the picture here, which is speckled with black and white feathers. So here's the question. If that is the case, the allele for black is B and the allele for white is W. The heterozygous phenotype is known as erminet. Here's the question. What is the genotype for black chickens? What is the genotype for white chickens? And what is the genotype for erminet chickens? So I guess it is very familiar with you already. So the answer for number 1 here, genotype for black chicken, as you already hear, so black is B, so you have here BB. The white chicken is WW. And what is the genotype for erminet? It's heterozygous, so you have BW. So you know this already. If two erminet chickens were crossed together, what is the probability that they will have a black chick? So you have 25%. And How about the white chick? You have also 25%. How did you get that? Well, going back to that, you will just need to combine, and it's no different from the previous example that we had, which is this one. This one is no different from here. So you have here 1:2:1 ratio. So you have 25% black and you have 25% white. And that will be the answer to those questions. Okay, very nice. So let's just finish up with this one. We have here a Venn diagram and there are a lot of descriptions over here. So let's try to see if you still remember our discussion a while ago. Starting with this one, where would you be putting this phrase, definite concept of dominant and recessive trait? Will you be putting that in the complete dominant, the codominance, or the incomplete dominance, or will you be putting them in between of those, any of those two? So for the first one, definite concept of dominant recessive trait, where will you be putting that? Okay, you should put that here. It's a complete dominance. There is indeed a definite concept of dominant and recessive traits. So only two alternatives. How about the next one? There is more than one dominant gene expressed. So which one of these three will be producing or will be characterized by more than one dominant gene expressed? What do you think? Okay, the answer to that is, of course, it will be codominance. So again, codominance, more than one dominant gene would be expressed. How about the third one? New trait emerges. Where do you suppose this should be placed? Is it a complete dominance, codominance, or incomplete dominance, or somewhere in between? New trait emerges. What do you think? They should be placed over here, because we already know that the incomplete dominance would be producing a third phenotype in addition to the two parents phenotype. Okay, how about no new trait emerges? This one, where will you be putting that? Complete, codominance, or incomplete, or in between? Okay, what do you think? Okay, you should be placing that here. So no new trait emerges. So for the complete dominance and the codominance, there is no third phenotype. Okay, so remember that. Okay, another one. Have slight diversions from the definite concept of dominance. Where do you think it should be placed? Okay, it should be placed over here. Okay, so incomplete dominance and codominance are slight diversions from the complete dominance. Okay, last two. Recessive trait only emerges in the homozygous condition. Where do you think this should be? Should it be over here, between complete and incomplete, or should over here, which is in the very middle? So the answer to that is this one. So the recessive trait only emerges in the homozygous condition for complete and incomplete dominance. And for the last one, there is no dominance, no blending for this one. Okay, and that ends our discussion here. So we'll be continuing with the next one, which is multiple alleles, and see you by then.